Hey there, Stampers. This is Sherry Roth from StampTreasures.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am happy to be here today to share with you this beautiful card created using the Ready for Christmas bundle, which includes this cute little stamp set and the coordinating framelits. Sometimes when you see a bundle in the catalog, sometimes it can be really overwhelming and look very intimidating. And you think that maybe it's not for you because you don't want to have to always create over-the-top cards. Well, over-the-top cards you definitely can create with this, but I wanted to show you that you can also create incredibly simple, basic cards as well, and they're still equally as beautiful. Okay, so first up we've got our card base, which measures 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm using a piece of our thick, very vanilla cardstock. I've scored it at 4 1/4, using my bone folder to make it nice and crisp. And I am going to use some Memento ink and just sponge around the edges. And you can do this as much or as little as you'd like. Make it as dark as you want. Or you could even completely leave it off if you want. It's up to you. Okay, the other thing that I did that I am not going to do for the video is the splatter. So what I do for a splatter effect is I have 2 little dishes. One dish I put a drop of Memento ink, well, or whatever color ink refill. But for this card I used Memento black ink. I put a drop in there, and in the other dish I have water, and I have a paintbrush that I wet with the water and then dip in the Memento ink, and then I just take it and I tap it on my finger to create that splattered look. And you get a very different look every time that you do it. It requires a larger surface area. It creates quite a mess, so I don't like to do it on the videos, so that's why I'm going to eliminate it. So I'll compare the 2 cards and you can see which one you like better afterwards, with the splatter and without. Okay, and then I've got a piece of our, testing my memory here for the name of this DSP. It's in the holiday catalog. I'm just looking it up here. It's called Merry Music Specialty DSP. And this measures 2.5 inches by 4.5 inches. And I'm going to take my scissors and just distress the edges a little bit. And again, this is something that you can do if you like that distressed look, or you can leave off and just leave it flat, and I think it'll look beautiful both ways. That's done, and that's going to get added to the center of our card, just flat. Right about there. Okay, and then I've got a piece of very vanilla cardstock that I'm going to sponge around the edges. This piece measures 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And I'm going to use my Memento ink, and I'm going to use the greeting that says Sharing the Joy from the Ready for Christmas stamp set. And I'm going to stamp it on the vanilla cardstock, but a little bit closer to the top. Okay. And then while I've got my Memento ink, I'm going to stamp the inside as well. So I'm using the At Christmas and Always greeting from the same stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp that in the center of my card on the inside. Okay. Alright, so we are done with the black ink, so I will set it aside. This piece can be attached. So that's just going to go in the center of our patterned paper. Okay, And then we're going to set that aside for a minute because we're going to pull in the Big Shot. And I've got a piece of old olive cardstock. And I'm going to pull out the framelits, and I'm going to use these 2 pine bows, or pine boughs, whatever they're called. One thing that I do love about this is that Stampin' Up! Provided us with 2 that are exactly the same. So if you cut out 6 of those, they will create this tree to perfection. But you only have to run it through your Big Shot 3 times rather than 6 times because you've got 2 that you can cut at a time. So I love that they did that. It saves a huge amount of time. These are a little bit more detailed, so I will run it through once, come back, and then go back again just to make sure that they're cut. If you didn't want to do that, you could use our magnetic or our precision platform. I just always have my magnetic platform on my Big Shot, so I find it just easier. I'm kind of lazy. I'm just going to grab my brush. Okay, so I'm going to use my die brush and just run that over top just to help it out a little bit. So you can see that by running it through that extra couple times, it really makes it come out quite easily. Just bring in my garbage and poke out these extra little holes here. Okay. All right, and this guy, oops. This guy's got a couple that need to come out too. All right. So now we've got our 2 little pieces. Let's just clean this off here. Okay, so now we can pull our card base back, and I'm going to use just a bit of Tombow, and I'm just going to add it just to the smaller tip. And this is going to go right about there. And then I'm going to do the same to the other one. Same. Oh, I missed a piece here. There we go. And again, you can join them up if you want, but our bow will cover over that gap if you don't join them up. Okay, and then I've got a piece of our Real Red tinsel trim, I think it's called. Yeah, mini tinsel trim. You get one package and it comes with 2 rolls. You get Real Red and silver. So I'm just going to tie a bow with this. And then play around with it until it looks the way I want it to look. And I want my end to come down, so I'm just going to fiddle with it to get it the way I want it to look. Alright, and then I'm going to use some more Tombow in the center. Put a little bit more there just to make sure it holds. Actually, I'm going to trim my end. Do I have my ribbon scissors here? Okay, so I'll trim the end of that just to even it up. Oh, well, that didn't even it up. Trim that side. Okay, stick that on there. And that'll probably take a bit to dry, to set. And that is not setting at all. Okay, so now we've got the 2 cards. So you can see that the splatter does offer a little bit more detail, but it looks just as good without the splatter. You could even sponge in a little bit further if you wanted to, but I think it looks great just like that. All right, so thanks for watching. If you're looking for more inspiration, feel free to visit my blog at stampedtreasures.com.